States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. Today is March 9th, 2020. Roll call, please.
Missouri. Here. Basil.
Here.
Whalen.
Here.
Caprows.
Here.
Meyer.
Here.
Kraus.
Here.
Today's minutes from February 24th. Are there any changes or corrections? If not, is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Say second. Any questions? Roll call.
Missouri.
Yes.
Basil.
Yes.
Whalen.
Yes.
Caprows.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Anyone from the audience wish to address the board? Clerk's report.
Total tax income received in the month of February was $178,020.98. I just want to remind everybody again, the dog tag deadline is 7 days away next Monday, so make sure you get your dog tags this week to avoid a $5 late fee and a possible police fine. That's it.
Thank you. Village Commissions, Beautification Commission, next.
Nothing to report.
Fourth of July Commission, Mr. Myers.
We had a meeting last week and they came up with the end of year numbers. They netted $5,934.76. But after park expenses, there was a loss of $5,480.90. That's pretty much everything that's done. They've still got 38 grand in the bank to start for next year, but that's pretty much with all the bills in. And they did change the fiscal year because we were going from October to October. So they changed it to be with the regular calendar year through December 31st. So there were an extra 2 months worth of bills, which doesn't usually amount to much because there's not much that happens in November and December. But that's where they stand.
Youth Commission, Trustee Missouri.
We just had our daddy-daughter dance. It was a success. We had close to 300 attend. And we're getting ready for Mom and Son Dance. The flyers went home. The registration is open. That's about it. Besides, our meeting is the third Wednesday of each month here at the Village Hall at 7:30. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Now my report. The book by our building, the letter that was sent by the attorney was attached. I did in fact see a lot of work over the weekend. Hey, why don't you go ahead?
I got you, Scott. All right, he saw you.
I know, I was watching him and then, okay, I get it. Go right ahead.
Okay, Historic Preservation Commission. We had a visitor come to our meeting last week, checking us out, seeing, what we were all about, so that's a good thing. We also talked about possible school field trips, trying to get some kids from the schools down there to look at the museum and see what Beecher's all about. I don't know if you guys remember, it was last year when Zion brought a class down, and that was a huge success. The kids like going into the caboose and then, checking everything out. So we're trying to reach out to the schools to maybe get some interest there from some of the kids, see if we can get them in there. Driving the Dixie, believe it or not, is coming up on June 20th. So we're stopped for that. They'll be coming into the depot, getting their stamps, and last year we had hot dogs and different things like that with the milk pappas, thing that was going on. So it rained, so these guys were out there with their hot dogs, the Lions Club, and the car numbers were down because of the weather. Of course, some of these antique cars, they're not going to drive them when it's raining all day. So we're hoping driving a Dixie is better this year, and that's June 20th. We also talked about our sesquicentennial coming up, and we thought, with the street dance and everything else, if we can coordinate maybe having an open house at the depot, in the caboose to try to get people. We were talking about some signage, getting people there because the street dance is going to be the next street over, right across the street from the railroad, across the railroad tracks. So we're thinking about things like that. I think that would kind of spur it up, and I think it would get people to see it that would normally not come down to the downtown area. And that is it. I got to talk to Matt. We still have a little sump pump problem down there. Just the pipe that goes outside. So we'll talk about that. But that ends my report.
I have a question.
Yes,
When's the next meeting?
third Wednesday of the month, 6 p.m.
Okay. Third Wednesday of the month.
Third Wednesday, okay.
At 6.
Question?
That ends my report.
Let's try this again. Book buyer building, the letter that went out, the letter was attached, over the weekend, I did see a considerable amount of work being done there. I don't know if were you down that week?
Yeah. Yeah, they were up on scaffolding, I think Sunday was really windy, but they were up there for 4 or 6 hours, on and off.
And then, there's also a letter that went to the home on, Indiana Avenue, which that's still a work in progress. We have to pass a intergovernmental agreement with Will County for the establishment of a quiet zone in Indiana. The intergovernmental agreement was attached. There's no questions, would someone make a motion?
So moved.
And that would be ordinance number 1323. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second, any questions? Roll call.
Kraus,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Caprows.
Yes.
Whaling.
Yes.
Basil.
Yes.
Missouri.
Yes.
And as we mentioned in an email, there's a political rally scheduled for March 21st, 10 a.m. to noon at the northeast corner of Chestnut and Dixie in the right-of-way. I believe they've made contact with the police department,
Yes, sir, we're involved with it.
and they had one of these in Crete, which I believe about 100 people attended from what we heard in the past. Other than that, that ends my report. So Finance and Administration Committee, Trustee Beecher.
Okay, treasurer's report, Don?
February month-end balance of the village accounts, $2,490,436.42. The month-end for the commission accounts, $183,510.50. The total of both combined, $2,673,946.92. Month-end for general, $566,892.38. It was up a little more than I thought it was going to be, which is good. Total interest for the month of February, $3,696.35. Fiscal year-to-date interest, $47,740. The commission non-AP payments, $715,651.48, which includes the IHC Baxter Woodman payment from IEPA. And other than that, just your normal stuff. And if there are no questions, that ends my report.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion approving the treasurer's report and report of financial activities for the prior month.
Motion on the floor, is there a second? Questions? Roll call.
Missouri.
Yes.
Basil.
Yes.
Whaling.
Yes.
Caprows.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
All right, the variance reports for the preceding month are enclosed for your review. And if there's no questions on that. The approval of bills for the prior month, we had some additions. Beecher Hardware for $286.07. Com Ed for $447.07. Dressler Peters for $5,508.97. Lana Muchin for $687.50. The Verdette for $280. I believe that was it.
Some of those weren't entirely new, they were just an increase in the amount because another bill.
Well, they were highlighted ones.
Yeah.
If there's no questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve the bills for the prior month for $93,088.18.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a second, any questions? Roll call.
Kraus.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Caprows.
Yes.
Whaling.
Yes.
Basil.
Yes.
Missouri.
Yes.
Okay, the next item, the village locked in the electrical supply pricing for the 3 years. on all of its accounts through NEMIC. Currently, the village pays 0.05015 per kilo hours of whatever, on the 3-year contract with Dynergy, which expires on June 1st. Bids were opened and discussed and had to be made within 24 hours as to what option was selected. The village selected another 3-year option with a different vendor, Constellation Energy, who we had before, at a price of 0.04250, which is 12% less than the current price and only 1% higher than a 1-year option. Please see the enclosed report. So it's going to save us a little bit of money on Village Electric. The last item is the budget workshop reminder, 6 p.m. Monday, March 30th at the Village Hall. And that ends my report.
Public buildings and properties, parks and recreation, trustee Lynn.
Okay, splash pad update. There were questions at our last meeting about possibly putting in a rubber type flooring on the splash pad. And the response that I got, and I'll read it here, is there is a rubber type product that has been used for surfacing under splash pads. It is called Aquaflex. Unfortunately, the price per square foot is about $24 to $25 a square foot. And you would also need to have the concrete base below it. I mean, obviously, you still need the support, and this would go on the top. Also, the warranties for this product is 3 years. So, Bob, being he's so good with calculations and everything, he took that circle and he figured about, what did you figure, Bob?
I was gonna guess 62,000.
All right, he thought because it's a 50 by 50
by 50
circle,
times 24.
and then it's about 62,500 as far as the rubber pad. Now, I also have another lead from another company, so we're gonna keep shopping this, and see what we can do, but I just wanted to bring everybody up to date as far as that goes. And that's where it sits as far as the amount and also how long it's going to last. And I haven't even gotten into the cleaning process, if it's gotta be cleaned or treated with something or, whatever. So there might be some things that come up as far as even during the winter. I don't know if the elements can do anything to it. So, still checking into it. I just wanted to give you guys an update.
Is that in addition to the 200,000, the 60?
That's an addition.
Okay.
If we did it in cement, Scott, and we weren't happy with the cement, could you add rubber later?
I would think so. I mean, we can ask that question. I think it's just a matter of probably putting a small edge or whatever the inlay, I don't know if you call it that.
I don't know the last time any of you guys have been to a splash pad, but concrete base is not a good idea.
With the brushed concrete.
I mean, those kids are just running nonstop every year. I mean,
Okay.
it's a bad idea.
We'll keep working on
Yeah,
it.
the vendor didn't seem to support
That rubber and the swing sets and all that kind of stuff, you have to have a special mulch underneath it, so why wouldn't you have a special in the water, which is the rubber?
Yeah, it just
doesn't make
pure
sense.
concrete.
He's probably saying that for the cost.
I mean, the brush, I mean, I get it for traction, to keep it
Slipping,
from
right.
slippery, but
Right.
kid running and I just,
Sliding in that thing, tear something up.
you gotta remember, the kids are gonna be in swimsuits.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a
Right.
lot of protection.
Right.
I mean, talk about some road rash.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to bring you guys up to
Because
speed.
you want it used.
What's
At the end
that?
of- You want it used
Oh,
at the end of the
absolutely.
day. And if
Absolutely.
it's, if it's that bad and dangerous for kids, nobody's gonna use it.
Right.
Then it's a total loss.
Right, and it sits there, nobody uses it, so, okay. But that's the scoop as of right now. Like I said, I have another, Bob gave me a website, another company that we can reach out to, so we'll keep working on it. Park District referendum update, everybody should have received or are receiving the mailing that we did I don't know about you guys, but I've heard a lot of positive feedback about it. And I also heard that, you know, the mailing was very good as far as explaining what it's all about. You know, the pluses and the minuses and everything else. So I think hopefully a week from tomorrow, we'll see the response, you know, but I think it's perfect timing that it came out now while it's still fresh in people's minds when they go to the polling next Tuesday.
I got a question for you on that. Do you kind of have a number in your head as to like what you'd like to see to think, like a percentage as to?
The difference between yes and no?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
to where you would say, okay, it's viable, we could maybe, because, I mean, right, just because you have no's, I mean, those might just be people that haven't been educated that
right,
could be a yes,
right,
right? So I don't think you need a majority of yeses to proceed with it, right? I
Right.
mean, you know, but I didn't know if you had given that any thought, is it like
Well-
35% yes, or is
Right.
it, you know,
and you
30% yes, to where you got time then to really educate and let that grassroots
Right.
movement get out
right,
there
because I
and
think,
educate the public to.
right, I think that's the big key, is how this goes, and then what we have, or what they have to do to educate the community,
Mhm.
you know, on what we're looking at. But, you know, when it all boils down, I think we can look at the numbers too, at the percentage of people that voted. You know, because if there's a 13% turnout, that's a good gauge of 13%, but, you know, is that a normal year? You know, what's gonna happen if the Park District vote comes down the road? Are we gonna expect that same 13%, or is it gonna be a higher amount? So,
It's gonna
yeah,
depend on the money that's involved too. How
Right.
much is the tax bill gonna go up? You know, that's gonna be kind of the bottom line for a lot of people.
right.
And then I have a question about that actually. As far as like seniors, are they on like a senior freeze, so would their taxes go up as well? Or is that just their set rate and they really don't get?
I don't know, does,
That one is
Separate
like,
I don't either.
I was gonna say, if it's a new
Separate taxing
tax,
body,
yeah.
I think.
I just,
Yeah, it's a
I
new
don't know
tax.
how that works.
Yeah, I
Theirs
don't,
would go up or
I
not.
can't even answer
Property
that.
tax.
Yeah, so that would be one thing that the new committee, or the new commission for this new park district would have to come up with all those answers. And right now, we're just getting a feel for if it's a possibility. Because it's a lot of time, it's a lot of commitment to get these off and running. It's not like, yeah, we're gonna get a committee together and we're gonna push it to, I mean, there's a lot of, you know, a lot of prep, a lot of company or community involvement, and a lot of fundraising and everything else, because this isn't, you know, they're gonna have to raise money or fundraise to be able to get it there, you know, pay for brochures and everything else. So there's a big thing, but that's a good question, because we'll have to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you need majority, I think,
Right,
you know, if you're 30 to 35% with an interest, yes, I think that's,
with this short notice.
with that short notice, but just no education where, you know, what you put out there was a neutral position, right? I mean,
Right.
I think there's a lot of people that just, and the reason why I think of that is I have had, not a ton, but I'd say probably at least a dozen or so people ask me, where they just, no clue. I mean, and, you know, that was before the flyer, hopefully that answered some questions, but I think with even more education, there may be some people that are initially tend to just say no, but if you
When
can
they
get-
really consider it
if you can get
and
some
understand
time
it.
and
Right.
touch them and explain to them possibly the benefits, that you may
Right.
be able to change some no's to yes.
Right.
now, we just have a week until the election now. How does the board want us to proceed with advertising in the next week? Do you want us to keep resharing that flyer? Does anybody have any further information, different information? Because I think if they keep seeing the same exact thing, they read it once, they're not gonna read it again. Is there something fresh, is there something different that you want us to put out there, is in a different format? I mean, once people see it once, I'm afraid they're gonna forget it by Tuesday, and who knows with the coronavirus and the weather and whatever else, you know, whether they'll vote since it's a primary. So I was just wondering how the board wants me to proceed with advertising in the next week.
I don't know, I still think you need to put that out there because there's a lot of people that haven't seen it yet. I know that they're getting the mailings, but I think you should do that. Maybe we should come up with a few other ones to filter in there.
Even just a reformat of the existing information that looks different, that catches your eye, maybe I make them, I can do
Yeah.
something like that, unless there's something new or different that anybody wants to add to it.
Good job with that, though.
Oh, it's nicely done.
Yeah.
Marcy did all the text, so I can't take credit for that.
So that ends my report.
Planning, Building, and Zoning Committee, Trustee Mazur.
Thank you. Consider an ordinance amending the zoning code to permit solid fences and fences up to 6 feet in height in rear and side yards. The current ordinance only allows fences up to 5 feet and must be 50% open at right angles, 1 inch of open space per 2 inches of surface. This ordinance was referred to the PCC by the village board, and at the public hearing, all who testified were in favor of the change, but questions did arise regarding covenants and HOA reviews. Minutes of that meeting are enclosed. The PZC unanimously recommended approval of the ordinance amendments. Does anybody have any questions or any
Yeah,
discussion about
I
that?
do. How many were there to testify?
7.5. So 7
7
adults
and
and
a
1
half?
child. The child didn't
Oh.
speak.
Future voter.
So, yeah, and they were all very much in favor. Which in turn, the board didn't really have anything to say against it after that.
With HOA, isn't it regarding HOA or village, whichever one is basically stricter, doesn't that, you know what I mean? If the HOA, I thought I heard that before, if the HOA has a stricter ordinance, can people come in and say, like, if you live in Prairie Crossings and they only allow 4-foot fences? So will this supersede that?
Village does not enforce HOAs at all.
Yeah. That's what I
It
thought,
supersedes
the
it.
HOA still gets to enforce theirs in that particular subdivision.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would not deny a building permit if someone insisted that they wanted to put up a 6-foot solid and met our code. We would not deny them that permit, but the HOA could go after them civilly. It's a private matter then.
So when they come into the village hall and they want to put up a 6-foot fence now,
We require that they get a letter from the HOA. If they cannot get a letter from the HOA within 7 days or insist on the permit, we issue the permit. But the notification to the HOA is a courtesy. I don't believe this affects any of the covenants that we have currently in effect. Because I think Stan Kennedy was at the PZC meeting and he said that their covenants say follow the village codes pertaining to fences. And they review them on an appearance basis. So it wouldn't affect how it's being enforced now. We haven't having trouble getting Felipe to sign off on building permits and Hunter's Chase. It's been a struggle, depending on who's the office administrator at the time. So I don't think that's gonna change any of what we're currently doing.
Well, the residents, some of them objected to contacting Felipe because they feel like they no longer have an interest in the subdivision, so they question that.
Motion?
So I would like to make a motion to amend the ordinance for the zoning code to permit solid fences and fences up to 6 feet in height in rear and side yards.
1324. The motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a second, any question? Roll call.
Mazurek,
Yes.
Basil,
Yes.
Whaling,
no.
Caprows,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
That's it.
That's all I have.
Public Safety Committee, Trustee Crowe.
Thank you. The 2019 annual report, the police department has been provided, or should have a copy in front of them. We'll get you one. And then the second item is for executive session.
At the end, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Public Works Committee, Trustee Caprows.
Wastewater treatment plant improvement project update. We're now working on punch list items. It appears that Saturday, January 13th, 10 a.m. to noon would work best for the open house at the plant, since the bike rodeo is on the 6th, garage sale. scratch the days are on the 20th.
They're now driving to Dixie too.
Yeah.
Driving to Dixie?
Is it 20? Yeah.
Oh,
Date set 13/10 to noon. Consider a payment in the amount of $325,528.91 to IHC as a construction progress payment for work at the wastewater treatment plant pending receipt of IEPA loans. So I'll go ahead and make a motion authorizing payment in the amount of $325,528.91 to IHC as a construction progress payment for work at the wastewater treatment plant pending receipt of IEPA loan funds.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a second, any questions? Roll call.
Kraus,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Capros,
Yes.
Whaling.
Yes.
Basil.
Yes.
Missouri.
Yes.
Consider payment in the amount of $23,639.59 to Baxter and Women for construction management services at the wastewater treatment plant pending receipt of IEPA loan funds. I'll go ahead and make a motion authorizing payment of $23,639.59 to Baxter and Women for construction management services at the wastewater treatment plant pending receipt of IEPA loan funds.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a second, any questions? Roll call.
Missouri.
Yes.
Basil.
Yes.
Whaling.
Yes.
Capros.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Lead service line project public hearing has been posted for this coming Monday, the 16th at 7 PM at the Village Hall. May have to be continued to Thursday, March 19th. Trustees need not be present at these hearings since it's an administrative hearing. We're still on target for a summer 2020 program. Gould Street Water Main project update. The bid's only good till June 15th. We have sent out emails and correspondence to our legislators and have not received an answer back. Hopefully with the mayor and the administrator heading down to Springfield at the end of the month, they can corner them and see what's going on. That concludes my report.
I have a question.
Somebody have a question?
He knew tonight.
Okay. Is there sewer and water now to that lot over there where the sleeping quarters is?
Yes.
Okay, so that's already completed?
Yep.
Okay.
The plan is when those temporary housings leave, we will disconnect those because it's gonna be a park.
Parking lot, okay.
And my comment is, it says Thursday, March 19th for the continued hearing. It's actually gonna be Friday, March 20th at 7 o'clock. Believe it or not, Friday night, the 20th at 7 PM, we have to hold a hearing according to the EPA. It has to be exactly 10 days before the due date of the application. It's ridiculous, but that's what we're gonna do. We did not change the March 16th date. We'll continue the hearing, because we've already posted for that hearing, and we invite people to come on Monday night and not ruin their Friday nights. But if they wanna come Friday night, they can too, and we'll make sure there's a staff person here and the engineer will be here on both.
So, but the 16th, the plan is then the 16th,
Is the full-blown presentation.
that's the presentation. The hearing will be continued, it'll pick up, open on the 20th.
For 5 minutes.
Yeah, basically open, shut if there's no other new questions or new attendees, and then finish it up.
Any other questions? Economic Development Community Relations Committee, trustee Meyer.
The village received a special use permit application for a craft cannabis grower at El Consuelo Ranch. It would be for the section in the very back of the property where it is outside of the buffer zone that was passed by PZC and us. By mutual agreement, we are holding the fee in escrow along with the application until we hear from the state. They were applying for the March 16th deadline, and those are licenses that will be granted by July 1st. However, they'll let them know ahead of time. July 1st is when the license actually comes out, but they will find out probably quite a bit before then as to whether they've been approved for the license, and then it would proceed to the special use permit process.
There's gonna be one change to the special use permit application. They also have to get a transportation license from the state. That triggers a second special use for the transportation part of it, because the cultivated cannabis can't leave the property without a transportation license.
Right, and she was
apparently.
talking about that at the time, too.
Yeah,
that
so
she was gonna apply.
We'll do both at the same time, and they have to apply for 2 licenses from the state. That's 2 application fees.
Gotcha. Village received an inquiry to annex the Lane Western property on the south side of Indiana Avenue, east of Dixie. It was for a truck and trailer, well, leasing, parking, repair facility inside the yard. This 170 trailers, I'm not even sure how that came up. I know it came up in conversation, but the guy that was opening it up says basically if there's 170 trailers in that lot, he's out of business, because he says I can't have 170 trailers parked and not on the road. So this is for people parking them, go on vacation for 2 weeks or whatever, coming back to get the trailer. They'll be parked when they go to get repairs. Very limited amount of people on site to do repairs on these things, so. If we get to negotiations, the most likely zoning of the property that would be requested is I-1 limited industrial with a special use for a truck terminal, which would trigger PZC action and hearings.
Just to emphasize, the trailers would be empty. There's no product in it whatsoever, they'd all be empty, they're all
Yeah.
boxes.
They weren't interested in the liability of having a lot of trailers that were full of product. Sesquicentennial book first draft is nearing completion. The book appears to be about 120 pages long, and the original quote we had was for 56 pages. Revised quote came in at $19,500, which is $2,500 more than we have on account. The plan is to have the village front the $2,500 and get paid back with book sales. Hopefully we'd sell 500 copies at $20 each, and the village will also have to front the $1,000 for the street dance, which we will discuss at budget time. The laser light show is already covered in the proposed budget. And that concludes my
I was
report.
hoping to use proceeds from the book to pay for the street dance, it didn't work.
It's a good thought.
Any old business coming for the board? Any new business? Ask for a motion to adjourn into executive session to discuss a replacement employee for Ron Thurston.
Make a motion.
And there's a second. Question, roll call.
Kraus,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Caprows.
Yes.
Whaling,
Yes.
Basil.
Yeah.
Mazer.
Yes.
2 minutes of smoking if you have.